another exciting edition of Graphic Showbiz X Dialogue series. Over the years, creatives have been instrumental in the campaigns of political parties, with a few lucky ones securing political appointments when their preferred parties win power. It, however, appears having creatives in political positions or places of influence have not positively affected the desired fortune stakeholders have been looking forward to. On today's edition of Graphic Showbiz Dialogue Series, we are privileged to have a panelist lead the conversation on the topic: Have creative players in political positions helped the industry? And we have our guest this evening. Our guest this evening are Nana Poku Ashes, who is an artist manager and he's an entertainment pundit. We are privileged to also have Ola Michael. He's also in the media. He works with Despite Media and he's a movie producer. And then I know him to be the former PR for FIPA, that's the Film Producers Association of Ghana. We're also privileged to have Kojo Preko Dankwa, who is the president of Foundation of Concerned Arts Professionals, that's FOCAP. For those of us in the arts, we know that it's a vibrant, association within the arts that advocates for progress and for a lot of good things for the creative industry. And we also have our very own Socrates Safo. He's foremost a movie producer. That's what we know him to be. If you are a strong, you follow the creative industry too. He's a very vocal voice when it comes to our politics as well, especially for the creative players who are into politics. In 2017, he was appointed as the director for creative arts at the National Commission on Culture. This evening, we are privileged to have him because I know that he's on an assignment in the USA and he's producing to promote his new movie, which is Tuntum. And so we are privileged to have all of them. And on this note, I say good evening to our guests and good evening to you, our cherished listeners who have joined us for today's edition of Graphic Showbiz Dialogue Series. Before we proceed, I would like to ask our speakers to tap on the mic so that we can make them speakers and then we can go on. Our guest, that's Ola Michael, Sukrit Safo, Ashes, and then Kojo Perkon, so that we can kick off the conversation. Hola, Michael. Good evening. Can we hear your voice?
Yeah, good evening.
Good
I can
evening.
hear you.
Nana Popo Ashley, good evening. Can you say hi?
Good evening. Can
Oh,
anybody
this
hear
is,
me?
yes, I can hear you. But
Okay.
I don't know whether you are playing music. You are giving us feedback.
Is it who Ashes?
Yeah, I think it's Ashes. Nana Popo
What am I
Ashes.
doing?
We're getting feedback from a music playing at your
No, no, no. I'm
background.
not playing music. It's not from my car.
Is it gone?
Hello?
Yeah, I think it's
All
okay.
right.
Okay. Thank you. So good
You're welcome.
evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
So welcome, once again, welcome to the Graphic Showbiz Dialogue. Please, this evening we know that we are in political season, and as I earlier mentioned in my introduction, we're going to have, we're going to have many of our creatives joining. Before we had our creatives campaigning, but should I say we're not at the forefront in the last few years, we've been privileged to have some of our creatives take very important positions. But as should have been our expectations or as we expected that maybe having creative at the forefront of political, should I say, positions, will be able to have some of we'll be able to have, to see the creative, a lot of fortunes, or should I say, a lot of some of the policies that creative players are looking forward to. So, as our topic says today, we're going to talk about how our creative have they really had any in helping with their positions in political, have they really helped the industry? I think I'm going to kick off with Kojo Preko because I know that before MPP came into power, he was quite vibrant and he was at the forefront. No, we're going to start with Ola Michael rather. I think that Kojo Preko is yet to be approved to be a speaker. So maybe Ola, you have been an industry player for long, and you have seen the subsequent government come into power, and you have seen some of your colleagues. If I say some of your colleagues, I mean the creative players take on positions. From what you said, would you say that we've really had any impact, or the creative industry has seen some, like say, progress with creative having their own people taking political decisions.
Okay,
Olamichael.
so thank you very much. You see, before 2008, I'm sure everybody or anybody that has been following our progress would agree with me that before 2008, there wasn't anything like creatives involved in politics. And in that respect, our voices were not heard, and it was as if we didn't exist. But I think right before, I think in 2008, when um, Nanado, as at that time he was a candidate, invited creatives to his house, and thereafter the discussion of creatives' involvement in politics began to take shape. In 2012, that was when the former President Mahama also, based on the voices that were being heard on radio from the creatives, decided to create a ministry
Okay.
called Tourism, Arts and Culture. So that was the first time we even had a ministry nomenclature capturing our work. And thereafter, you realize the progress every time. I mean, when politicians are making a decision in manifestos and everything, you always see the creative part being captured in bold letters. So yes, we've made some progress, and I think we've made some achievement as well, all the way to this current administration where we have a creative person being a deputy minister for the tourism, and even before him, there was a creative person which was Honorable Jafar Gomashi under the President Mahama administration. She was also, what do you call it, a deputy minister. And even at that time, her main minister, the substantive one, Elizabeth Ofuria Jari, was also an actress. And she also has some sort of investment in the creative space. So even within that 2012 onwards, we had two creatives in the tourism, arts, and culture ministry. So yes, we made some progress. And it's something that we should commend ourselves for.
I understand where you're coming from. We've made some progress by getting the attention of our political leaders, and we've made progress by getting our people in positions, political positions. But has this progress translated into increasing the fortunes of the industry?
Well, that is where the challenge is. They say Rome was not built in a day. So for me, it has been a gradual process, right from where I started, from where we didn't even have a ministry, we didn't have creatives being involved in political campaigning, all the way to where we had ministry and had creatives involved in the ministry, either as a minister or deputy. To this time, it has been a progress. I mean, it's a step at a time. But unfortunately, we may not have had a lot of impact on the industry. We may not have a lot of tangibles that we could point out to as benefits or gains that we've made out of these gains that we've made through the political terrain. And that is because I feel we probably don't know where to position creatives properly. I feel we, the creatives, don't know where we should be positioned, and the politicians don't know where to position us. That has been the challenge. And I'm sure as we move on, we may be able to find a solution to this. Until then, this is how it's promise and fail. That's how we're going to have to live with.
Okay. From I'll say that creatives don't know where the position they themselves should be placed. Maybe I have to look to another actions if we agree with that. Is that the case? Is it the case that creatives don't know where to position themselves? That is why when creatives get into political positions, it's difficult for them to use their position to contribute to the progress of the industry.
Okay, if I'm being heard, this is how I take it. You see, the politics itself is a different setup. It's not like our usual or our regular theater or show business kind of thing. Politics is built up in a different way, and it's an institution that needs understanding, right? We as creatives do understand our creative world differently, and the politicians also understand what we are doing differently. Do you understand me? So if we get a political, if we get one from us into that space, we expect a lot, right? But before that voice is heard politically, it's a big challenge. That which I say, it's not just one person that can do that. It is good we have somebody from us who understands the cry, who understands the pain that we go through as creatives, and we wish and want more from our side. But due to the lack of regular investments that will trickle down to our side, we are not really heard. If every time every time the budget is being read, it looks like we are relegated. When it comes to the creatives, we are always relegated to one side. What is given to us cannot be compared to what's given to the school sectors, the health sector, the environmental sector. They always get a chunk of what the economy.
Yeah, hello. Hello, Anapoko. Have you lost him? Okay, I think that.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Okay, you are back on air.
Yes, I was saying that what is due us as creatives in the budget, right, is always a little as compared to what is due the other sectors like the health sector, like the sports, like the environmental sector. Those people get a chunk of what the economy generates, and we always get a little of what we actually are asking for. So it becomes difficult for the minister and its deputy to actually be able to do the things that is really needed for the creators. But when it's actually go on in the budget, you then get to see that the tourism sector generates a lot. So this is where I would have expected that people in our sector should be able to drum home the message to government that, see, we are generating a lot, but we are giving little. And year on, we don't get that person whose voice is actually heard that loud, right? For government to understand our plight. That's where the challenge is. The person who would speak and amplify our thoughts, our ambitions, our seeings is always like it's not loud. Who else to do that? Whoever we get from our side, who's supposed to do that every time there's change of government or there's appointees, whoever comes from our side has just a little voice. I don't know if I'm being heard. So we are always relegated. That's the problem.
Okay, Anapoko, I understand where you are coming from. Okay, when Ola was making his submission, he mentioned that before 2008, creatives were not even their voices were not heard. We've been able to make that noise. Now we are able to get positions. So why is it that a health professional, maybe somebody within the health sector, can get into position and use his influence to get an allocation for his sector? So when the creatives get into position, we are bedeviled with many problems. Why can't they also voice out, like you are saying? Is it that, like you are saying, it's belittling? Is it not your bargaining power? Or it is just that, the system is just against the creative industry? Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, Nana Poku, please,
Can
I
you hear
can
me?
hear you now.
Okay, I'm saying that it looks like the position given to the creatives has become ceremonial. We have to give them something. So they find a space to, like, let us occupy. But in terms of the government setup and structure, we are not really part of them. We are not really a part of their setup. They're not really taking the word from us. They are doing what they want and they will implement it on us. They will impose it on us, whether we like it or yes, take this and go and do this for them. Because if it wasn't for that, amphitheaters has been promised way back since. But till now, we haven't gotten this one amphitheater, one out of the lots they promised. So then it tells me that the positions they give us is just to shut us up. Oh, yeah, we're giving them some. So yeah, now they are okay. They have got their person. They say they want their person. We've given their person. But then the political setup itself doesn't favor us.
But okay.
Are you understanding
I
my point?
understand your
What I'm
point.
saying is,
I perfectly.
when they call out us to come and occupy a position, it's just ceremonial.
It's just ceremonial. We
It's
don't have
just
any
ceremonial. It's not.
influence.
No, they don't have. It's not like we don't have influence. They don't have plans for us. Whoever they put there, they don't really give the person power to operate. They operate and put it into the person. They're still operating government into the person. It's not the creatives into government.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Let's say it as it is. Let's call it out as it is. That's how it is. We are ceremonial.
Okay.
They need to please us, so they find somebody to just put there.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I don't know whether Kojo Prepodankwa shares the same views with you, but from your last statement, that it means that then the creatives who get into power are not really helping the cause of the creatives, because if you get in there and there's a system and it's imposed on you, and you know the challenges of the sector you're coming from, and you decide to go with, should I say, what is a whole system and imposed on you, then the people who get in there do not help them, do not help the creative industry. I don't know if Kojo agree.
Can I come in?
That
Can I come in small? Yeah, let
yeah,
me let
you
me
okay, you
let
come
me
in
come
before
in
Kojo.
small before
Okay,
Kojo comes so that I may switch attention soon. You see,
okay, sure.
I agree with the frustration of my brother Nana Poku, but we the creatives have been so relaxed and we don't seem to know, like I said earlier on, where to position us. I'll give you an example. There are companies or let's say industries that have got managers, CEOs. Most often, the managers, the CEOs, the accountants do not know so much about the raw materials that are used for production. It is not their job. There are people who are very much knowledgeable in the raw material that are used in production. There are people who function very well in the engine rooms before you can even see the captain steering the affairs of a ship. Because we were so excited, wanted to be known and wanted to be heard, we always think that we need to get a ministerial position to make our voices heard or to create certain sort of impact. But I disagree. I think we don't need a ministerial position to get that impact. We need to position our people at the agencies. That is where the engine room is. That is where creation of everything, the foundation and everything we are looking for is. Minister just guides policy. You don't need to have a minister being a creative person, a deputy being a creative person. They will still fail if the engine room is bankrupt or the engine room is not working. This is what I think is the problem with us. The foundation of the industry, the structures of the industries are built by industry players. And as we speak, we don't have those structures. So whoever you place as a minister will still fail us, will frustrate the person, or the person will frustrate us. It's as simple as that. But we probably don't pay attention to that part. And we're always looking at the top. The top. We need to be at the top. So what about the ground? Who works on the ground? Who does the tilling of the ground and the sowing of the seed? That is what I think we should be focusing on now. Let's think about getting our people at heads of the agencies. Now we have a creative arts agency. It's dormant. We have a film authority. It is playing some hunky dory party rhythms with Pixel. We have Gamro and the rest. Everybody is just playing up. Why don't we get serious with these places? Get our people to be very serious at those places and build the structures from there. So in that respect, you may not even need a creative person to be a minister. Once your foundation is so strong and your structures are strong, you are good to go. But we don't have those things. So why do we always clamor to have ministers in our name? That's why it's not working. Look, we can bring Ashes to be a deputy minister. Go and bring whoever to be a minister from the creatives. They will always fail so long as the foundation is not there. So long as the structures is not there, they will fail.
Thank you, Ola, for your submission. Hello, Kojo.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I'm sure with your brothers, Nana Poku and Ola, they've said a lot. Maybe you can take it up from where Ola. Do you also think that we don't need to be in high positions? Maybe we should be on the ground, that we can influence policies that ministerial positions is important. Do you agree with that?
All right. If I'm heard, then I want to greet my colleagues, Nana and then Ola, and then Socrates. That takes great to so long. Okay, so let's ask ourselves first off what we mean by political positions. I think that in the first place, we need to understand what politics is. The creatives are playing politics for a very long time. Why am I saying this? We've been playing it with associations. Don't we go for elections? Don't we see people wanting to stay in power for long? And don't we see people galvanizing to take support from their members to become president secretaries and financial secretaries of their own welfares and associations that they have, i.e., FIPAC, Actors Guild, ASOC, Gamro, all those ones. These are political positions that we have seen our own creatives going to, champion a certain cause that they really want to see the effectiveness of these associations. But then let's ask ourselves, in as much as they went ahead to vie for these positions within their own setup, how effective has these organizations been within the space? Very poor, very inactive. As we speak, FIPAC, the term of James Abuaje and his people are over for a year now. They are still in power. We are still asking or requesting that they should have elections done. This is politics that they are doing. So they've been in this system for long. The point here is that we cannot even manage our own house. Even small welfare monies and dues that we take from association members, they misappropriate it. So you're asking yourself in the first place, if politics has even helped them, or they have even been able to champion their home, even with their own normal, I'll call it home elections. They have failed totally. Therefore, coming to national becomes a problem when they get there. And like Ashe said, and I support him 100%, the national politics is a different ball game altogether. You will need to be imbibed into the political ideology of what you support and understand the policies and the manifestos that they want to come up with. We have to then defend the kind of manifesto that they are bringing for you to be effective within the party. Therefore, if your first instance of building a manifesto, you are not involved as in the creatives, it becomes a challenge for you to even be given that particular mantle, and then you say you want to execute something you were not part of and parcel of to even execute. So I'll give you another example again. When they were writing the 2016 manifesto, if all of us recall, the chairman or the one who was heading, and if I'm wrong, Socrates will correct me. The one who was heading the 2016, when they were promising us those humdious promises, i.e., what Ashe said, the theaters and all those things. Who was the one championing it? It's Shelayo Kobodi. Where was the creatives? I want to ask again. When they formed the Creative Art for Change, and they decided to support the NPP, I'm talking about the creatives. I want to use them as an example here, a steady case. Ask them, including Socrates, how many of them are even card-bearing members of the political party they supported or they continue to support? How many of them are even card-bearing members of that particular same party? Again, how many of them had much influence within the space when they were organizing or they were writing this manifesto? That is questions we need to ask. All that they used them for, as in an instrument, was to use them to galvanize people to support their numbers that they have for a very long time. That is what they use in getting them there. And then, like he said, we have become ceremonial. So then, thank you. And because a minister had given you, a certain president or government had given you a space within the tourism space to say that we need to hear you people, therefore we need to give you something to do. So you check again. Check the people that were given positions within 2016. Check them. How effective were they? We had Ejaku as board member for National Theatre. We had the late Wache as board member of National Theatre. It was a political option. What has happened to National Theatre as we speak? National Theatre under Nana Ofori-Atta, as in my own brother Ofori-Atta, who is now the current board chairman of National Theatre, came up with a 5-year plan. It has ended. Ask yourself, that 5-year plan that they brought, what has happened to that particular plan, including the creatives who were there as board members? Come to Folklore Board. We had Feche Mensah as part of the board members of Folklore. What happened? It is a political position. What have we seen Folklore Board do to this country? Nothing. Let's come back to Commission on Culture. We're hoping our own brother will be given the mantle to become the executive secretary for National Commission on Culture, i.e. So Christopher. It never happened. Then they decided to give him a position as Director of Creative Arts at the Commission on Culture. Ask again. When he started, and I knew, and I was part of it because he called me on that one. When he started the move to develop a data for this creatives, what happened? And what has happened as we speak? Nothing. Let's ask our own recent minister, Mark Okreko-Manteh. What has happened? My point here is this. When they get into the mainstream, they should realize the fact that there's a difference between being a show person and then the policies of the party you are coming to serve and the business side of the whole system. Check the people that I mentioned. How many of them have really gone into the business and policies of the creative as we speak? Tell me, how many of them understands what policies should guide the creative art? So I'll give you another example again. Look at how Ghana Tourism Authority has been built. How they built it was so good. Now, they decided to develop a federation that will become more or less like a big association where they have a mouth to talk. Check the creatives. When they created their own for us, I never seen so before until now that a law appreciates and allow associations to become members of an act. Simply because we do not even understand the policies that guides our own, creatives. Jifa Kumashi came. It was her era that we decided to get the National Film Authority Act done, even though it wasn't assent to by then John Mahama in 2016 until Nana Addo came to do it for us. Thank you, Nana Addo. But the point is, when they did it, it took us almost 30 years or more. If Socrates is on the line, he will confirm almost 20, 25 to 30 years for us to get this present NFA Act that we have. So I ask, if they get in there, before they get in there, what has been their input when it comes to the building of the manifestos? And what has been their impact within the political circles? Like Ashe said, politics is quite different. So when you get into the space and we assume that you should be speaking for the creatives, when you know very well that your impact from the beginning, from the genesis, was inefficient, was just down, how do you even make batch effort or input into the system? It is zero. Therefore, we become ceremonial. And when we become ceremonial, it is always the politician wanting to serve something for us, like what they've done to us now. So we have done a solid 8 years. Okay, this year becomes a solid 8 years. And like Ashe said, what has been the input or the impact of the creative who were in political positions or who are currently in political positions helping the system? Because they themselves, when they started their own associations and wanted to help make the thing formidable from the grassroots, they did not even understand their own space. Therefore, when government at the latter top, even before they got into politics, when decisions are taken, for instance, tax incentives are taken, they can't even amass themselves to go and tell the government that, listen, we need to import cameras, for instance, logistics, and all those things to come in. It took Chairman Rollins, okay, and some few people under copyright to take the understanding, to take the understanding that we need to take a levy for people within the creative art space. And that's the one reason why we have levies taken on importation of pen drives, CDs, and all those things. Ask yourself, even as we speak, the creatives, if they really understand the job that they do, they would have quickly rushed to Parliament to ask for an amendment of the Copyright Act, because as we speak, there's no DVDs. But the act that we have for copyright still invites CDs and DVDs. But they are standing there aloof. They are sitting there aloof. Nobody's talking. Even the people who took political powers, they do not even understand. Before you even come in, These copyright issues that I'm talking about, ask me the people who sat down to make this thing work. They are not in total creative art people. They were people who have learned copyright. They were people who have learned the creative administration policies that guides it, that made it or enabled this particular environment for it to be done. So as we speak, you look at even what is happening to Gambro, the same creatives, to talk about issues of a party that you affiliated with. Now listen to their language whenever they talk. I like the president or the candidate, but I'm not a supporter of the party. You think politicians are fools? Therefore, you like the personality who is in there or leading the party, a certain political party, but you are not a party card member, and you expect to understand of what we intend doing. It is a fallacy. And I think that we need to then start orienting ourselves to understand that what we are getting ourselves into, if we really want to make a massive change within the creative space, we need to start learning the policies and the structures of the same creative institution we are in, i.e., copyright, i.e., data issues, i.e., intellectual property skills, i.e., we need to get people who really understand these things. Other than that, we will continue to be there, like Ashe said, and I support 100%, ceremonial. And we'll continue to be like that. And we'll continue to hit our fellow creative artists who go there and make it look they didn't do well. They didn't do well because they don't even understand the same policies that the structures they don't want to give us. If we have two major structures in the system, what are we waiting for? The structures are these ones. We have NFA, National Film Authority, a whole authority. We have the Creative Art Agency, Act 148, done, passed. Common ally, the normal common ally, the creative art person who is in the political space is refusing to act. And we are sitting here thinking that they want to change or they need to give us a paradigm shift. It's
Okay. Okay. I think has said a lot. And he's giving his reasons why he thinks that. I'm sure from his submission, we all agree that he wants to say that creative players in political positions are not really making any impact there, and their positions are not really helping the creative industry. Some of us, our listeners, want to contribute. Maybe Shine Publications. I don't know whether you are still there. You can make your submission. Then we'll go back to our speakers. And then, what do you want to contribute to the conversation?
Okay. Good evening. Yes. I heard something very interesting from Mr. Ola Michaels regarding the NFA and implying that the NFA was actually going around in circles. Well, I share a different opinion because some of the issues, or the main issue for me with film and its progress in Ghana has to do with two areas, which is investments and audience reach. And the NFA has been very, very loud on these areas. For instance, you see the conferences she has held, or the NFA has held, regarding making Ghana the shooting spot for the world, which is, I feel, a strategic way of bringing investors to Ghana. As they film here, they employ some Ghanaian skills or some Ghanaian workers, and by that way we are exchanging skill sets. They are gradually falling in love with the Ghanaian market and audience, and before you know it, we can start having them invest in our films. And secondly, she was also the NFA has also spoken about audience reach. The number of screens are limited, and that's another thing that is really bothering us here. That's why sometimes I wish we have people like Obirana too on this platform, because he just premiered his movie on Val's Day, and he did it nationwide. Which would definitely give him more revenue than someone who is just premiering at one place. So I feel the NFA is actually pushing the conversation forward, and they are making strides, and I think we should support them. I don't think I will not agree with what Mr. Ola might be saying.
I get your submission, but you're not limiting the conversation to the
NFA. Yes, I just wanted to touch on that because he said that. Okay, so the main thing is politics is moved by policies, not celebrities. So when I hear people saying, "Oh, we have these celebrities in there, they campaign for the people," at the end of the day, they don't see any positive change in the creative space. Well, As Honorable Marco Krikumante has put it before, I think he said that at the music summit organized by Charterhouse. He said that when you get in there, you realize that you have to push policies and you have to go to parliament, lobby for your policies to be pushed, and that is not an easy task. So it's not a question of whether or not the creative mind or the creative player who has been given the political appointment is serious about the job or not. You can't push it alone. You need the entire what they call arm of government, or at least the majority, to fall in love with your policy or your idea before they can make it work. For instance, I have a publication here on Monday, 24 July 2023, when the outgoing minister, Dr. Mohammed Awal, met with the mayor of Houston in Accra. And he advised the mayor on areas where he can invest. He mentioned 4 areas, and the arts was not part. Tourism was mentioned, energy was mentioned, agriculture was mentioned, and something else. But the arts was not part. Why? Because as the NFA again has put it, not limiting it to the NFA, we lack verifiable data. Why is Hollywood big and everybody is interested in going to Hollywood? Because you are hearing figures. You are hearing figures that are true. Their tax body is involved in it, so you can't publish false figures. But Ghana, when we come to, for instance, the film area, we can see what we see is videos, a lot of crowds going for it, but we don't see figures we can verify. That's why I was happy when Silverbell published what Yvonne Nelson made at her last but one film premiere. With the music side, it's better a bit than the film, because now these online platforms are showing us the streaming figures. Even though the figures can be manipulated, at least you can see some figures. So that one is also another setback. So that I think we need to focus on exactly what needs to be done, and not just apportion blames, because it's the same conversation always, and I get tired of personally listening to it over and over again. For music, for me, for film, we need to partner the Ghana Revenue Authority and come out with a credible box office for us to monitor and release figures on our earnings from our movies over time. That alone will draw investors. If you tell me that someone used 50,000 Ghana cedis, shot a film and put it in the cinemas, and over a period of 6 months was able to rake in 2 million Ghana cedis. Businessmen here, we don't need even foreign investors. Local businessmen will put their money in there. Secondly, with the music side, it is royalties for me. If the radio stations are playing people's songs without paying anything, how do you expect them to grow? We need people to pay people. Not everybody wants to be a stage performer. I've created my work. I want my work to be played, and I want to earn from it. That's why SACEM, the French embassy, organized that workshop for us and asked us to partner SACEM, because SACEM is one of, I think, is the longest established music, what do you call them? The royalty collecting body. This is how people are getting rich. This is how people are building their industries. These are the 2 areas I feel we should push, and let's stop beating about the bush. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. It's unfortunate. I think Ola has gone off. Maybe he would. I think it was just right for us to give him the opportunity to clear what he was saying, but he's not online. So I'll go back to my guest. Thank you.
Maybe I can do it on his behalf when it comes to NFA a little.
Okay, for those that you can do that.
It's quite interesting that we think that NFA is doing what it's supposed to do. Check the Act 1935, and you understand where Ola Michaels is coming from. The Act speaks a lot, and the Act is demanding or talking about certain things that we are supposed to do, not even this one that my brother is talking about. Listen, you have an institution or an authority that has been built where respect for board members is not there. Your board chairman is a lame duck. The executive secretary, calling herself now the CEO, is not even coordinating very well with the board members plus the board chairman to even do certain things that we need with the film industry. If I should start, because we don't have time, I would have just quoted some few things within the Act that would have even given us something under the same particular people that we have there. Listen, when they had issues and they went to then Minister Awal, their term of office was over. Minister Awal decided to bring back the same team again with the hope that their internal squabbles that they were having will be resolved. How can you at a minister, when indeed a minister has stepped in, written a letter to talk about the brand name of Ghana moving in this country, a certain executive secretary CEO decides to move ahead and take that independent action. How do you expect, okay, how do you expect that Ola will not tell you? Because he's a strong person, he understands. That is why he decided to use the language. It has become something that you can't even hold on to. He didn't really want to go drink deep into it. But if you go deep into it, you understand that the little things that you are seeing is just a flash that will have to be, it is flash and it is gone. But the pillars that we need, the reasons why the NFA was set up, my brother, you need to go back into it again and see whether it is being done. That's what I can say.
No, thank you. I think we are fortunate to have Socrates Safo join the. Hello, Mr. Socrates. Good evening. Hello, Socrates. Can you tap on the mic so you can speak, please?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning.
Evening and welcome.
Good morning.
Oh, it's morning.
Yeah.
It's evening here.
Okay.
Thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. I noticed you just joined us, and we've had a very fruitful conversation in your absence. But I'm sure you are conversant with the topic. We are talking about the has creative players in political positions help the industry, and from our previous submissions, Kojo Ekon, Nana Poku Ashes, and Ola Michael, they all think that they are mostly ceremonial positions. You're not really making any impact. It's like we make noise. They want us. The creative players want to be heard, so they give you a position so that at least you know that you are part of it. But the whole political system doesn't even favor us. You've been there as a creative, and you've held a political position. I know that in 2017 you were the director for creative arts at the National Commission on Culture, so you have a personal experience. So I want us to go back to the topic. Do you think that when creatives get into political positions, they contribute positively to the progress of the industry?
I would say from my personal experience, yes, they contribute. But it depends on, one, information flow, for you to know what the creative person there has done. Because if you see things happening and you don't have the backstory, the narratives, the how it's all started or what is happening, then you will have to, you may not be able to give the credit to. Hello, can you hear me?
You are online. We can hear you, please.
Okay, then you may not be able to give credit to who credit is due. For example, we see things happening, but you may not know where it came from. I would say the National Theatre, they now have, should I say, a policy, or I don't know how to call it, where creatives can easily go and have an arrangement with the theater. You don't have money to pay. You have your show. You don't have money to pay. But you can now sit with them. It's part of their arrangement, standard arrangement, that they will partner you and then you do the production. Without you paying, they will bear the cost and then you go into revenue shares with them, which has helped a lot of producers of shows, drama, or theater programs until they are able to stand on their feet. It took somebody to push for that thing. That person is a creative person and he understands the challenges. It took that person. He's a creative person. This has not been written anywhere. It has not been published anywhere. But you see it happening. Should the person always come out and blow his horns and say, I did this, I did that? No. So long as the creatives are benefiting. Hallelujah. Today we see comedians. The same comedians that somebody said, show me one good Ghanaian comedian and I'll give him the stage. We see comedians failing. It took somebody to push, to have a particular venue somewhere and to give them a way that they can even perform there at a reduced price that they could not even pay, but even have it on credit until they finish. And even sometimes when some of them are not even able to make the numbers to get the money to pay, that person can personally intervene because he's a creative person. I can go on and on and on. Today, you see comedians now have a chance to even travel around. As I'm speaking to you now, come October, a bunch of creatives will be coming here to the US to perform. It has taken a creative person to be doing all these things. Meanwhile, before then, these opportunities were not there. We don't even hear of them. There is this UN, sorry, I've forgotten the name, that last year, creatives got part of the funding. Unfortunately, when they get it, they are quiet. Then they go on the quiet. They don't mention it. It took a creative person. That money do come through to the tourism authority, and it goes to the tourism sector. But last year, it took a creative person to fight for creatives to also get part of the money, because the creative person was there. In 2017, the budget of 2017, it took a creative person who had the opportunity to sit in, to push and give data, because the creative person realized that all these years that budget has been prepared and nothing comes to the creative, quote unquote, not nothing as nothing, but something less come to the creatives, because they don't have the data, they don't have the figures. And if you see the people sitting there, they are not creative, they have no idea about what happened. A creative person got the opportunity to sit in there and give the numbers, and to even change the narrative that, look, the revenues that goes into tourism is not tourism. Tourism is just the tag. But the, how do I call it? The real indicators are arts. When tourists comes to Ghana, what is tourism? They come and consume arts. So the revenue are for arts, not tourism. Tourism is just a tag. It is that machinery that has been created for the person to come, but he's coming to consume arts. So art should be given the proper credit. That is how come art now got its right place. But for that, they were not aware. They're looking at the people who were coming, and they spent so much, and they spent that much. Yes, we got 1 million people coming in. They were able to get the data to know that the 1 million people came and they spent this much. What they didn't know was the art side. So you don't have that much time. I will say that from where I sit, what I know is just that the narratives have not been given out, not through your fault, but even, let me say, from my political party that I belong to, that I serve. Everybody knows communication is our challenge. So a lot is going on. Today, I heard Ashes saying that we promised theaters, we haven't done anything. Yes, I'll not bore you with what we said we were going to do, but at least to say that we have done nothing around the theaters, I will beg you, please, put the narrative right. We have started something. We haven't finished.
Okay, please, I'm sorry to cut you as you are talking, but if you are a creative and you are in a position and your own people can't even see what you do, and you attribute it to the fact that the information flow is limited, then that's quite surprising. It's a bit, I don't know how to put it. For want of words, I don't know how to put it, because you were creative and you can't even let your people know that this is what is happening, this is what you are doing for them, and then they come out to say that when you get there they don't see what you're doing, and then you attribute it to the fact that it's lack of information flow. How do we, I don't get it. Then they have a right to say it, that when you get there it's more of a ceremonial position, that because if I am a player and I don't see what you are doing for me, and you who are may come to tell me that if you are doing things, you are not seeing them because we can't even communicate properly.
Well,
then
can I come in?
Come in. Yes, please, you can come.
Okay, I understand where you are coming from. That's one. Those complaining, are they practitioners or they are, let me say, reporters? We have two sides of this industry. We have practitioners and we have those who report. Like my brother, Kojo Preku, he reports. Kojo Preku is not a musician. He's not a filmmaker. He's not an actor. So he reports on what he sees. So if the person who is inside there is doing something and he's not telling Kojo, that doesn't mean that something is not happening. Something may be happening, but the information have not been given to him. So there, I agree. It's a challenge.
Hello. Can I ask Socrates something? Sorry to cut. Can I ask Socrates
Yes,
something?
please.
Is Socrates aware that the sector minister at one press briefing gave us a specific timeline and dates to which that these amphitheaters were going to be finished, and he categorically put it on record that we should put him on record that at that end of that specific month, the amphitheaters were going to be ready because government has released funds to the creative arts sector for that thing to be done.
Yes, I'm aware.
So if we ask questions after several months that we haven't seen that amphitheaters, are we wrong in asking questions? What prompted the minister to come and give that speech if it wasn't a ceremonial something to just please us? And why did the sector minister just come and whitewash us and go?
I mean,
I want to know.
can I come in?
Yes.
Please come in.
Okay. Madam Chair, moderator, you heard me. I said we promise, but I said we have done nothing. But I would prefer, or I wish that he will put it right, that we have started something, but we haven't finished. That is what I said.
4 years. How many months do we have to the end of their tenure? And you're telling us about promises? You're still telling us about promises as at now? No, we shouldn't be talking about promises after 8 years. We should be talking about completion.
Can I come? We discussing failed promises, or we are discussing contribution
No,
of creative.
I think that it was your line of submission. That's why he was.
Yes, my line. Please, I know exactly what I said. I'm not here to argue. I know exactly what I said.
Okay, so you continue.
The topic is about creatives in the industry. Have they contributed to, like, their participation in governance? Have they contributed to the industry? And I started giving out like that.
Oh my God.
And I said that I've lined a whole
Please, can you let Socrates, do his submission? I'll come back to you so that you can have your.
No, but he's talking about creative. Who is the Okweku Mante? Is Okweku Mante not a creative?
Please let him.
Is the Okweku Mante not part of us? Let's. Anyway.
It's okay, please. You continue, please.
Okay. Well, so if we put our personal emotions and our personal sentiments aside, we will deal with the issues as it is. There is a song that says that count your blessings and name them one by one. Then you will know what the Lord has done. Our expectations may be on a certain area, and maybe what is on the grounds may also be on a certain area. I'm not here to say that we have achieved all that we promised by our manifesto, because that is not what we're discussing here. That is not what we are discussing. And I'm not here to say that we have completed or we promised theaters and we have given you theaters. No, I only seek to point that the theaters in that has not been done. There's difference between has not been done and has not finished. They are two different things. If you have not finished something, that means you have started it. And the records on the grounds that we should speak on, do we have theaters that has been started that has not been finished? It's a different thing from we have finished and we are giving you a theater. I'm only talking about contribution of a creative person. That I know it took a creative person to push that for that thing. Though when it was delaying, because government coffers have a whole lot of pressure, everybody pulling. I know how one of the appointees even have to pull for something. He was a friend. He went to the office and almost like took off his shirt to fight for something to be done for his sector. So it's not easy. But if we have got a creative person to push for the thing to even start from the grounds, I only seek to bring that to our attention. That per the topic that we are discussing, that has made me leave a meeting, come outside to even come and contribute. That is what I want to focus on. If later we want to set up another platform to discuss whether we have failed or we have achieved something or what we didn't achieve per our manifesto, then we will deal with it. So, Madam, I still want to end on this note that yes, from where I sit, a lot has been done. And you mentioned something that whose fault that the industry people don't know. I will say it is my party's fault. I personally have a challenge with the way the MPP have managed its information flow. And everybody in this country knows. If you look at the things that MPP have done, and the information is not out there, everybody is holding things to his chest to get the opportunity to come and deliver himself for people to see what he has done. That is the problem. But if we have been very vocal, as we speak now, people don't even know the level which the theater has reached. People don't know. People may even pass there every day and they will see a structure being put up. They don't even know that this is the theater that we promise, that we are building some. They don't know. So that one, madam, it's my party's deficiency. But I can tell you from where I sit, and maybe if I should speak for myself, me, Socrates Safo, if I should speak for myself, I know the things I have done. But I cannot come out and isolate myself and say that me, I have done A, B, C, D. No, it is not right. It is a collective achievement. Whatever has happened, maybe through me or through whoever, has happened collectively through a machinery. And that is what I give the credit to. But please, I will say, any day, any time, I am one of the people who champion creatives to be in politics. I stand by it because I know. Ask Honorable Jifago Mashi. I went to her office during her tenure. I pulled her out. I said, Madam, let's put politics aside. Look at this area, look at that area. And I took Jifago Mashi round myself. Put away politics. I took her, ask her, you can call her. And I was advising what they should do. Unfortunately, and thank God, unfortunately on their part, and thank God that MPP came to power. And right now, I can tell you, as I've indicated, a few of things that I know we have been able to do. I'll not mention the whole lot because we are not talking about campaign promises, but I'm only giving you an indication that when creatives are in, yes, one, the first thing that you must consider, the person's personal attitude towards job or towards his approach to dealing with issues. Have also issues with whatever appointment he or she may get. Yes, it's a factor. You may get some appointees who may not be people's person, who may not like to come on the grounds, who may also not like to do things a certain way. It has its positives and it has its negatives. You may not be happy with them, but that doesn't mean that they are not doing anything. I rest my case.
Thank you, Socrates Safo. Thank you so much for the submission. If you just joined us, you're still listening to the Graphic Showbiz Dialogue Series. It's unfortunate that you're far behind time, so we'll have to go back to our guest so that we can wrap up, so that we can call today's edition off and we can say goodbye. So I want to go back to Nana Poku. What would you say? I don't want it to be a personal attack. What will be your final words to the
Oh, we are not here to attack anybody. I mean, we are all contributing a little to help this industry grow, right? And I think my uncle Socrates has said enough, but I am not the one to disseminate any information for any political party. So if they have the information and they will not share it with us and they will keep it in their chest, that is their problem. I mean, that is for the other party to capitalize on. Because what is seen is what the people will actually praise. A part at which we are talking about creatives and its impact is where I have pain. Because, like I said, if Marco Krekomante, Honorable Marco Krekomante, my godfather, actually is from our creatives, right? And if you ask us creatives that what has been Mark's impact, a lot of people seem to be at a loss. You know, we all thought that when Mark gets in there, a lot will change. Even if it doesn't change for anything, we know that the film industry and then the music industry will be amplified in a way that we will see changes. But you see, that's what we're saying. Mark cannot do it alone. This government setup will cripple you, no matter how hard you try to play it. I am sure Mark has done his possible best, because for him to have championed that cause that the amphitheaters was going to be ready at a particular time, it tells me that Mark had the government's word that go and say this to your people and it shall be done. That was his joy. His joy was that he would see that amphitheaters done at a particular time at which he promised that. But to date, he hasn't had the necessary funds to complete it. What is that telling us? That our voice is not that powerful. The creative, the way we believe ourselves, we can believe ourselves only in our sector. But when it comes to the government machinery, we are not that powerful. So it's time we make government listen to us.
Okay. Nana Poku. Hello, Ashes. Okay. Kodo.
Yes, I'm here.
can come in. I think you lost that.
Okay, all right. I've heard my big brother, Sir Christopher, speak, and again, I want to say thank you to him for admitting the fact that this government has failed when it comes to communication and talking to the very people that they are serving. Again, if you are not propagating what you have done for the people you are serving, do you know what it means? It means that you have done nothing. Because if you have done something, you will not sit down and sit on the achievements that you have. You will propagate it or you will talk about it. So I repeat again, if you think you have done something and you are not propagating it, it means you haven't done anything to the people you are serving. So the amphitheaters he is talking about, how did the amphitheaters came about? When they failed in 2016 to talk about giving us theater like what we have in Accra, as in the National Theater. When they failed again in rehabilitating the existing Commission on Culture buildings, when their former deputy minister, then with Kachin, had said that it is better for them to rehabilitate the existing conference centers or the cultural centers that we have, that made the man to kaput. They started. The least they could do to us again was that, listen, we need to build something for them because we have promised. And that is why they are bringing us a Greek amphitheater. And the same minister who Socrates, my big brother, is talking about thinking he's championing something, comes on radio and comes to the media and to tell all of us that we can't even do events that can even take up much capacity. Therefore, building 500,000 capacity for us for amphitheater, it is better. And you think you have done something better for your country or for your people you are serving? You can admit, but the point is that you've done nothing. And we can go on and on and on and on that. But largely, if we come back to the topic and we are running up, like I said, I think that the creatives who get into politics really will have to then drink deep into the ideologies of the party that they serve and then understand where their party principles are coming from. Then when they get into where they want to be or they are appointed, they should rather learn the policies and the structures that guide the business of the industry that they are in. And that is what we are lacking. We are only putting people there, like my other brother said, because in the name of celebrity. Oh, he has done music before. You were in the studio. Oh, you have done music before, but you didn't learn what copyright was giving you. You were in the studio. You didn't learn what intellectual property was. You were in the studio. You didn't learn how the trade and the figures and percentages of certain things were going across the world. You were not there. Therefore, you can't make any meaningful impact to, decisions when they go to cabinet. If you really do, then we would have done something like that for 8 solid years. If this particular present government, the so-called creative art people who are still in positions, wanted to see us get some amount of money to really position us very well when it comes to creators, they would have fixed the data issues that we're talking about. Since 2018, Katrina Feku's time that they talked about or they spoke about data is 2024. We are still not getting data for policymakers to make meaningful decisions for the creators. And yet we still have the same creative people calling themselves politicians and they are there thinking that they are working for us. No. The 2024 budget, that was read and that has been accepted. Go and check how much we are putting into theater. They have gone back again to say that we are building extra 5 theaters, putting in an amount of almost about 107 billion or so into that particular project. But you ask yourself, where you are even building these things, that structures you're talking about, there are semi-amphitheaters that are not even being used. So you're only serving a political thing that you think that you want to give to your people? No. I think that we need to learn our space in the area of policies and the business itself, and not to champion it, making it look like we are filmmakers and therefore we understand. Listen, they are coaches, but some are not footballers. Coaches, not all of them are footballers. And check the records. The people who are not even footballers even do well than the people who claim they were footballers and became coaches. So we should understand the fact that if tomorrow a certain government comes and does not even appoint a creative arts person, we should understand. But the point is that will that particular person get the real core things that we need? Look at all the manifestos that were read. If you look at it very well, check how much you can easily tell the inputs and then the mindset of the creatives they visited. Check all the kind of things they were saying from 2016 up to now. We need theater, we need this, we need that, we need this. None of them spoke about policies. None of them spoke about structures. So we're here thinking that, oh, we need this, we need that, we need this. When Obo took $2 million from then to for to do a whole research on music, first ever done in this country, from Ampedu's time up until now, this is the first time we have ever done a research. Let's ask this present government where that research is since 20, if my memory serves me right, some 2021 or 20 something. That research that was done, 2 million entered into the space. Where is the research? The same creatives who entered the space politically did not even raise this matter to even tell government that, listen, we have done the research to tell you that GDP when it comes to music is 0.20 or 0.23. But the research that was done proved it. They didn't push it. They didn't push it because they have their level when it comes to policies and structures and everything. It's not there. We are not saying we need an in-total person who is a filmmaker, who is an actor to be there. No, I think we need to rather look at somebody who has the creative at heart and can really, and administrative wise, and knows what policies that can help the industry, and not the real core people who would think that they know the trade. No, they think they know the trade, but they don't know the trade. That's what I can say.
Okay. Thank you. Socrates, please, maybe you'd have to say your final words, and then we can call it a day.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Okay. I would like to thank you, and I will say that I understand every sentiment that has been shared by our colleagues. I'll also say that, well, creatives have really helped. It has not been as we expect, but at least it has moved us from 0.1 to 0.3, as it used to be that we were nowhere. Like I said, when it comes to budget preparation years ago, you have no idea the kind of records that were being presented, for which reason certain attention was given to us. But now it is a different thing. I will also ask my colleagues that they should also, as journalists, and if you set out to be a journalist or a pundit or a commentator of the industry, you should also make the effort, in as much as we are lacking in information dissemination, to also search and push for information. I know certain colleagues within the media circles who may call, Charlie, you say you have been building the theater, where is it? And I've taken some of them straight to the place and show them before. So those, when they are talking, they will not say that nothing is happening. They will say that something is happening, but you have not been able to do as expected. That is a different thing altogether. So as journalists and or as pundits, the moment you decide that you want to be a panelist, you want to be a journalist to comment on something, sure that you are an informed person. An informed person is the one who also go for information. You will fish out for information wherever it is. And I pray that we fix this country. My brother, could you talk about policies? Kojo, if you are still listening, I can assure you, from where I sit and what I know, all the policies are there. Every policy you are imagining that should be there is there already. And I know. Ask of any policy and I'll tell you where it is and in which law. Talk of music. Music should have no problem if they have proper managers of Gamru. They should have no problem because the law stipulates everything. You are talking about, how do you call it, revenues for musicians. The law states in total that's log and play. It is in the law. And the log and play is not the minister who should come and insist that radio station should log. The law says that the collective in society, that is Gamru, is the one who should do it. The moment the minister comes in, that is even an illegality. It is the revenue collector, that is Gamru, who should do it, who should to make sure that the station should log. If the station is not logging and is playing, it's supposed to sue that station and collect money for the artist. It is in the law. So which policy again are you talking of? Every policy you can imagine, the law has been made. Talk of FELB, the NFA law. The law says that we should have a board made up of industry industry practitioners and they have them there. It is up to the board, which have the power to make sure that the law is working. But if they go and sit there and practitioners who we insisted, that is how come the law took close to about 20 years to pass, because we were insisting that we want practitioners to manage it. And it has been passed to us in that form. And these practitioners are sitting aloof. What should we do? What should government do? What can the minister do? The minister cannot do anything because the law says what the law should do. So please, again, as journalists and as commentators and pundits, let's study all these things so that when we come public and we are speaking, knowing that the leaders also listen, we will come from informed angles and then also learn from it. But if you say something and he check the records and he sees that no, what you are saying is over the bar, he won't mind you. So I beg you, every law from where I sit and having participated in every sphere of this industry, I tell you that we have all that it takes, but leadership within the industry is the challenge that we have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but okay, that's the same thing I did say. I did say that there are laws. We need to understand the policies that has been established. For instance, all the laws we have, copyright is there. Don't we have the Act for film? Don't we have the Act for the Creative Art Agency? Don't we have? Yeah, we have all these things. But I'm saying that the practitioners need to live above the celebrity and the show and understand the policies and make it work. But what we are refusing to get is that the people that we put there as in the creatives do not even understand the policies for them to even project it. So that's all that I'm trying to say. We're speaking the same language. I'm not saying that there are no policies. Why? There are policies that are there from ages.
Okay.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then
Thank you.
you and I, today, when Ashi starts speaking, let us all remind him that today, on this date, 20 what? Today is 22nd. We have had this understanding in education. Do you understand? So he should start putting pressure where it should be. Do you understand? Because anytime any changes come within this industry, we rather want to put it on government. I don't care whether it's NPP government or NDC government. We put it on government. Meanwhile, we should look at the right channel. Government has given us all that we need. Funding, I'm telling you, funding. There is a way for funding in the laws. But who is handling it? Look, you of NFE, the L of NFE is not being delayed by government. It's being delayed by itself. It's not.
Yeah, so that's the more reason we are saying that the creatives in politics, they have not helped us. You guys have not really pushed what you have to push.
Okay.
The environment has been created, and you guys have not pushed.
I think we can go on and on and on and on. And unfortunately, we have to end this discussion or conversation. And on this note, I want to thank our panelists or guests who joined us. Secretary Safo, he's in the US. He's premiering his new movie Tuntum, and we so much appreciate you a lot for making time to be on today's dialogue series. Thank you so much. To Kodo Perkon, thank you so much. Your submissions have been insightful. To Nana Poku Ashes, I think he's gone offline. Thank him to Ola Michael, who joined us early on before he went off for other engagement. Thank you. And to our cherished listeners, thank you too for always joining and for making this conversation, successful. My name is Gifty Usama and I was your hostess. Until you come your way next week, is a big thank you from the Graphic Communications Group Limited. Thank you and have a good evening. Good evening. Good evening.